Okay, YouTube. This is Dan. I have chewed for a long time as to whether or not I should make a video about turning 22 rimfires into jackets to make your 22 caliber centerfire bullets or your 243 bullets. And the reason why I've kind of hesitated is because I wasn't quite sure what I could bring to the table that Al Gun Junkie hadn't already brought to the table with his videos, and I really suggest that you check them out because he has some very, very good ideas. If you swage bullets, trust me, you should check out Al Gun Junkie's site here on YouTube and view his videos. Also, James at AmmoSmith has got some excellent videos on his advanced bullet swaging where he talks about turning 22 rimfire empties into jackets to make your 22 caliber centerfire bullets. And he's doing some pretty interesting things. You should really check those two guys out and see what they're up to. But I think I can bring something new to the table as well, as because John at Al Gun Junkie has mentioned you can turn 22 rimfires into jackets to make 6mm or 243 bullets as well. Yet I don't believe, at least I have not seen his video as to whether or not he's ever done that. I don't have the dies yet to actually finish and make a 6mm bullet, but I do have the punches to turn the regular 22 long rifle rimfires into 243 jackets, and I also have a de-rimming set to turn the 22 magnums into jackets to make your 243 heavier bullets, like anywhere from say 80 to 105 grains. I think you can make with the 22 Magnum. I'm still chewing on a few ideas to turn the 17 HMR. I'm gonna have to figure out how to expand the case mouth or cut the case mouth off to make a rimfire jacket out of that. And if I ever do, then maybe I'll make another video and show how I've done that if I get around to it. Let's start here with our 22, well, with our long rifle set, or just our regular 224. If you look here, it says 22 long rifle to 224 jacket. This is your top or your exit side of your die. If you notice here on the other side, it says start. This is more or less a draw die or a ring die, and all it does is de-rim, and it has its count. If you know, I don't know if you can. Well, I'm sure you can't see. Maybe you can here on the video a little bit. You can see that it's counterboard, and this die will actually strip the 22 jacket off of your punch. Your punches are this is a thread. This is threaded, and they'll screw in and screw out. So if you break a punch, you can get a hold of Richard Corbin and buy a replacement. And this is your punch holder, and this screws into the ram of your press. And I don't know if you can see, he's labeled it as 22 or 224. So you know this is your punch to make 224 jackets. Now this punch here is what you do to make a 243 jacket, and this is where it gets different from what the other guys have done. If you notice right here, there's a chamfer on this punch, and that will actually flare the case mouth of your 243 jacket. Your rimfire jacket, this is for a 22 rimfire, you would make a 224 bullet, is just been drawn. If you notice, this was a Winchester Super X. Oh, no, it wasn't. It was a Remington, and it just unfolds the rim and makes a straight brass cup. Where the story gets interesting is when you're making a 243 jacket. As you notice, you don't run it all the way through the die. This is still your outside the normal outside diameter of the jacket. You can see here where my thumb at the end of it is where it's been de-rimmed, and if you notice here on the top, it's flared. And then this jacket is for a 243. And over here we have a set that is your 22 Magnum set to turn your 22 Magnum empties into 243 rimfires. And again, it's labeled on it 243 jacket, 22 Winchester Magnum rifle to 243, and again, it's got the start side. Included in the set, Richard gives you a knockout bar, and you'll need this. You'll definitely need this for making the 243 jackets. And each one of them, he has a little extension for pushing them through. Now, to do all this on the Walnut Hill press, you can leave it in swaging mode, which is what I do, or you can set it up into reloading mode. And you lose power in reloading mode, but you get more stroke. So, you know, I guess it's 6 of one and half a dozen of another. I prefer just to leave it into swaging mode because I know a few tricks that I can get by. I don't know if that there's necessarily a right way or a wrong way to do it, just as long as you can get it done. So let's start off the same way James and John et al. Gun Junkie does, and we'll make some 224 jackets, and then we will set up and make some 243 jackets out of the 22 long rifle brass, and then we'll set up and we'll make some 243 jackets out of the 22 Magnum brass. So the first thing we can do is, and we don't have to do it that way, but we're going to take our punch and we're going to put it in our press, just screw it into the ram. And then we're going to take our draw die, make sure we take the start and it goes down, and we're going to screw it into the top of our press. Now, because I'm going to leave this into the swaging mode and not the reloading mode, I want to screw this draw die in a long ways. I want it to be almost all the way flush, maybe even a little below flush, because that will allow the ram of my press enough travel to keep pushing the jackets through. Now, you wouldn't have to do that. You could leave it up higher and then use this extension and push it the rest of the way out with that. But I prefer not to do it that way. I prefer to just push them through. Now here I have a bunch of brass that my wife and grandkids and we went to a local conservation area range, and we just picked up a bunch of brass. Just picked it up, brought it back. It was nasty. I washed it, I rinsed it, and then I boiled it in a Dutch oven with dish soap and about 1/8 of a cup of vinegar, and boiled it to kind of get the crud off of it and the crud out of it, but there's still rocks and crud and grime, so you'll want to make sure that you clean it up. So we've just got regular rimfire, and we're going to put it in our press, and I think it takes about 3 of these to put it on, and then that little shoulder in there, see, as you notice, it strips it off. So it takes about 3 of these to get things coming out. And here they come out of the top. And that is how you make 22 center fire projectiles out of 22 rimfire brass. Now, to get them the rest of the way out, like if you're done, you could just leave them in the die, or you can use this extension to go ahead and get them out. So now that we've got the 224 jackets made, let's set up and make some 243 jackets. Okay, to make 243 jackets, we need to take or 6mm jackets, we need to take the 22 caliber or .224 draw punch out of the ram of the press and install our 243 or our 6mm draw punch. Now, when we make the 243 jackets, they're a little bit, the setup is just a little bit more critical than it is on the 224, because we want this to be, we're going to have to make sure that all of our work is done at cam over, because we want to make our jackets consistent. And as I said before, if you notice, we've got this chamfer here on the punch, and that's going to flare the mouth of our case. So at cam over, we want our work to be done. So when our press is all the way up, we want to have our jacket made without splitting the. If your die is down too far into the press, it will split the case in half on that chamfer. So what you do is you bring that in, set it on your, set your rimfire on your lubed rimfire case on your punch. You'll want to install your knockout into your die, and then you swage it or draw it. You don't swage it. You draw it. Now, as you can see, I don't know how well it's going to come out on the video, but as you can see, that's starting to flare. And it's starting to flare before we're at cam over. Now, and this is about where we want our case to be finished. So we want to back off. And if you'll notice that the hull is still in the die, which is what we expect. And let's back this off 3 or 4 turns, or probably not 3 or 4, but, and we're going to have to come off some more because we still got a ways to go before cam over. Okay, here we're at cam over. We probably want it down now just a skosh, and here we have it. Now we have our press set up to make 243s, and you'll want to get a soft mallet, because as you can see, this is going to work just like your CH4D dies. You're going to have to tap the jacket out of the die. So just give it a little tap, and we have a 243 jacket out of 22 rimfire, or 22 long rifle. Do it again. And another thing I want to show you too. A lot of times you go out on the range and you find a lot of this brass. It's kind of bent, distorted. It's still perfectly usable. You may have to take a little plier or something and just kind of give it a, kind of get the mouth round again so it'll go over your punch. But as long as you can get it to go over your punch, especially on the 243, it's going to make a good jacket. And once again, we have another good 22 rimfire turned into a 243 jacket. The next thing I want to show you is making 22 Magnum brass into 243 jackets. And the setup's just the setup to turn 22 long rifle into 243 jackets is the hardest. The setup for the 22 Magnum is just like the setup for the 22 centerfire. You're just going to push it through. You don't have to set it up so that you can knock it out without tearing it up. Once again, just like the other, you want to screw the start side down, and it doesn't matter what you do first, the die or the punch. You can, I just do whichever I grab a hold of first. So I screw my punch down. And screw my die down. And once again, I like to keep it in swaging mode, so I want to get this down a pretty good long way so that I can get things through. Now the 22 Magnum is going to be a funky little guy. Well, actually, he's a pretty big guy. We want to be able, he's not going to push all the way through and strip off like your 22 long rifles do. But you push him up through there. Now he's in there. As you can see, here's the bottom of the die, here's the 22 rimfire, and here's my punch. Now, we can handle this in one of two ways. We can take this little extension and put it in there, and we can push it the rest of the way out. We can do it like that, or once again, you can see that you have your walked on brass, which doesn't mean it's bad, but if it is walked on, you do want to make sure you look at it real good, because you don't want one that's got the case cracked. It's not going to make a good jacket. Now once again, you can see that sticking out of the bottom. You can cure that by just taking another one and pushing it through, just like you did on your others. And there you have it, making 22 Magnum and 22 long rifle rimfire empties into jackets for your 243 and your 22 centerfire on the Walnut Hill press. Happy loading and happy shooting.